So we are here in Alaska right now at the current moment in Anchorage with a man sitting behind me. I don't know if you can see him, John B, sitting back there behind me. I've just taken to following him across the country now. No, we just happen to both know who we're meeting here, and that would be Scott Rhodes. If you don't know who Scott is, him and I and Chris Bulow went to Columbia together and caught monster Cubear snapper, and now Scott is up in Alaska at the Royal Wolf Lodge as a guide there, and we are coming in for his last week of guiding this season to catch some big fish on the fly with him. We're going to the Katmai National Park. It is on 4 million acres of land, of wilderness. 4 million acres. It said, I read, it's the size of Connecticut and New Jersey put together. That's how much wild land is up there. And talking about the land of brown bears and grizzly bears and huge salmon and giant rainbow trout, moose. You can't get more wild than where we are about to go to. In about 30 minutes here, John and I are gonna go catch a bush plane, or is it a float plane? Is there a difference?
I think it's a float plane.
A float plane to the lodge where we're gonna be staying, and it is about to go down. Also, new little tradition I decided to start. Last week, or 2 weeks ago when I went to Arkansas with John, I didn't have a hat with me when I got to Texas, and I had to just buy this black North Face hat when I got there. So I decided to start making a tradition that everywhere I travel to, we're gonna pick up a new hat wherever we go. And so this is what we got right now. So, we got about 30 minutes. We gotta get to an airplane hangar and catch a flight. JP, you ready?
So freaking ready. Oh, there's an Uber.
Yeah. Over on this side or here?
Yeah, probably right there's good. Right to the left.
Okay.
And it's so wild. we were immediately told we're going to see bears, catch fish, and experience God's country. So I don't know what more you can ask for.
John has been like looking at me laughing because I can't stop smiling. Like, I'm losing my mind. We have arrived at the Royal Wolf Lodge, and the plane flight, I've said it to like 10 different people now, I feel like, was probably the first time in my entire life where I had like such a surreal moment where I'm like, this isn't real. Like, I'm gonna wake up in a second, I'm gonna be sitting in my bed in Florida, like this isn't happening right now. And we're just flying over mountains and humongous lakes. We flew over the biggest lake I've ever seen in my entire life.
You thought it was the ocean.
I literally thought, like, John's like, dude, this lake is huge. I'm like, dude, that's the ocean. This is like a bay. He's like, no, it's not, dude. This is a lake. And we were flying like between mountain peaks and just absolute insanity. We're here, the Royal Wolf Lodge. Got to see good buddy Scott. If you don't remember Scott, I went to Columbia with him. John's actually been to the Amazon with Scott.
Big peacocks.
We are geared up for a insane week ahead of us. Alright, right now we are riding a four-wheeler down to the edge of the lake to hop into a freaking float plane to go to the fishing spot where we're going. I don't think it can get more ridiculous than that. There's a grouse in the road.
Yeah, you'll have to get it out.
Is this unreal or what?
It's very, very unreal.
So, we just took a float plane and land it in a tiny little lake, and behind us here is a giant, beautiful Alaskan river. Scott's setting up a raft. John and I are gonna whip up the rods. We land the float plane in a lake, what do you think, just like 500 yards away from here?
Yeah, just over.
Yeah, just over this big mountain behind me. We just hiked about 500 yards with all the gear, and now we're about to load up and do a float and catch some Alaskan fish.
All those rocks right there are normally completely submerged. Seriously.
Scott, do you ever feel more badass than you do guiding out here?
Guiding out here is probably the peak of my guiding profile, for sure.
Is this like the sweetest thing you've ever done, John?
Oh, unbelievably so.
The water is so clear here as we're cruising down the river. We're seeing sockeye salmon, right? Scott just spotted some grayling. He said we'll probably see trout. This is, without a doubt, we haven't even started fishing yet, and this is the coolest thing I've ever done, probably. All of this brown spots that you're seeing on the dirt behind me is dead sockeye salmon, just thousands upon thousands of them. Needless to say, it smells pretty funky out here, but just absolute insanity. It's a little windy, obviously, and surrounded by dead salmon everywhere. We saw, holy wind, we saw some bears as we're flying in the plane, but we haven't seen one yet on land here, but I'm sure we'll see one soon. I was about to say, he's little, isn't he? How much do you think that weighs?
That one's got to fatten up big time, dude. He's way too small.
How much do you think he weighs?
That one, 200 pounds. The biggest ones will be close to 1,000.
That's insane.
Yeah. And their stomachs will practically touch the ground, dude. They're so fat.
I thought you were just gonna let us drift right into him. I was about to say, hey Scott. Scott?
Like, Scott, you're a dick.
Yeah, I was like, what the f, bro?
Hop on out, guys.
Dude, that is crazy how well that bear blends in. There's a 500-pound animal sitting 20 yards behind us, and you can barely see him in the camera. Like, the camera's barely picking him up. Oh, that was a huge rainbow. Dude, it was monstrous. Yeah, yeah. I think. Yeah, I am. Yeah, but he's not doing anything.
You will. Get that thing on the reel, man.
Yeah, I'm just. I'm switching hands here. Okay, that was crazy. One jumped right in front of me, then I threw one cast, and I think. Is he just sitting here?
Not for long.
There it is.
No, a little bit.
Yeah, not huge. He's probably what, like 20 inches?
Yeah. He's not the one you looked at.
No, he was not the one I looked at all. The one I looked at was huge. All right, I'm hooked up to my first rainbow trout of the trip, first fish of the trip, actually. And he's just sitting here, man, crazy. Like I literally couldn't figure out if I was snagged or not, because he's just like a little rock sitting down here, dude. There he goes. That's so sick. Him leaping like a little tarpon. I don't want to put too much heat on them. We're using actually 6-pound test for these fish. We're doubled up. John's got a big one on. I got a little medium-sized one. John's been fighting his probably for, what, 8 minutes? You want me to walk up and grab the line?
Yeah,
okay.
All
right.
Without the camera, it will be a little easier.
I can't believe how hard this fish is still fighting, dude. Will these things give up ever?
No, they don't. Look at the proportion on him, how fat his stomach is.
My Lord Almighty. Beautiful Alaskan rainbow trout in the rain here. Dude, this thing does not stop fighting, dude. I've been fighting this little fish for 5 minutes, and he's still freaking out.
They don't quit.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Scott.
No problem. Good start. Let's go help John.
Ooh. my gosh! What's that?
Keep everything up. Lawson, walk over here.
Okay. I got a Mondo on. This.
Only mistake you can make here is getting down too tight on it.
So tip up, flame light. Oh my gosh! He's just in the current. Scott said you gotta keep your tip up, can't put too much heat on him. He's just gonna wallow out there. I gotta take a note, John fought his fish like this for 10 minutes or more. I need to just sit on this thing right here. Wow, my heart is racing right now, dude. I didn't know he was that big until he just came shooting out of the water.
Dude, nuts.
And I don't understand how a fish can get that much air in 2 feet of water. He came at me really fast and was head shaking. And that
He's right there.
is terrifying.
He's right there.
It's so insane. I can see him, but like you can barely see these fish. They are so perfectly created to blend in right here, man.
How you feeling?
Dude,
You got this.
I'm so nervous. Scott, what do I even do when he's just sitting here like this? I go,
Nothing.
Scott just yells nothing at me. Like, it literally, they're so powerful that this current is a joke to them, and they're just gonna sit there and use it to fight you. It is so crazy. We're using such light gear. Like, I don't even know, we just gotta kind of just be at the mercy of this fish until he decides he's done.
It isn't that light of gear. Like this stuff you could use for like decent sized saltwater fish.
Yeah, I can catch snook on this. Like I've caught tarpon. They're strong, dude.
The line is super light. That's what you gotta worry. Oh, that was sick. That was sick.
This thing is huge. Wow. Scott, and you said this is probably the best trout fishery in the world, rainbow trout.
I think it's the best rainbow trout fish on this planet, yeah.
That's natural, I think, probably.
I've caught,
in terms of native fish.
Yeah, native
in this
fish.
one spot, I've caught a 15, a 19, jumped a 24 probably, and now I'm hooked into potentially
Like a
upper
big
20s.
piece, yeah.
The difference thing about this fish, he might be only 24, 25, but he's got some serious current.
Oh, here he goes.
Yeah, that was cool.
I am like having to fight every ounce of my being to not try to fight this, like stick it to this fish, like just let him have his space. Like I'm so just used to like wanting to reel down and pull up on him. I just like have to sit here. How epic is this? So I'm hooked up to a giant rainbow trout. 50 yards down the bank, there's a 500-pound grizzly bear.
Yeah, there's grizzly, and there's Lawson, and there's Fatty McFat trout. Hell yeah, dude. That is a pretty fish.
Absolutely insane. I think my waiter just ripped. I ripped something in my pants, probably. Absolutely insane. Male right here.
Yep.
Big, fat rainbow trout. Not nearly as long as John's, but holy cow, is this fish almost as tall as it is long, dude.
Dude, he's a 25-incher. He doesn't look quite as long after that 27, but that's a big fish. That's the one we're coming here for right there.
Like 13 and a half.
13 and a half, yeah.
Nice. Chubby.
That is our big boy right there. There's my big boy. Oh, I mean, it took, I'm not exaggerating, probably 15 minutes to fight this fish because they're just so strong. And he just like kicked off like it was nobody's business. Like, I'm out of here, screw you guys. Wow. Thank you, Scott.
Sick.
Thank you, Royal Wolf Lodge. Thank you, everyone out there.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, John. Guess what? Dude, I don't know if you saw, he ate and then went woo like 100 miles upstream. Dude, he's running. Oh, it's a tank! Dude! There he goes. Oh my gosh, the drag coming off of this thing. My spool is dumping. This fish is about as wide as it is long. It looked like a square jumping around out there. It's insane because these fish, it literally feels like you're snagged sometimes. Like I can't move this fish. Like if you saw this, you'd be like, this idiot snagged right now on a rock. But it's just a freaking giant fat rainbow trout sitting here. And they get so stuck into the current. Scott's been walking out and scaring them to get them to run because they'll just sit with their head in the current. Oh, we're gonna get a jump, we're gonna get a jump, we're gonna get a jump. Oh, come on. Oh! I wasn't even reeling, I wasn't doing anything.
Nothing you can do about that, dude.
Get more.
That's all right.
Get more.
Down.
I got bit again. Yeah, there it is. Oh, that's big. That's big.
Yeah, he has him down.
Another one just jumped out of the water down there. Dude, mine is going berserk. Woo. He's a good fish though. He went wild, man. Airborne.
He's chunky.
We're a lot more tough on the smaller fish here. When they're really big, you get getting kind of nervous and they fight really long and doggy. These little ones, I'm just kind of trying to whip in. This one isn't a slouch though. He's probably the second biggest one I've caught. Right. So Scott said the big thing too is you're putting weight on them with the rod. You want to leave the reel almost alone when you're trying to pull these fish because if they decide to surge, you want the line to be able to flip out of the reel really quickly. And so you're kind of just using the rod to put the bend into them and kind of pull these fish around to get them out of the current. He's gonna go here in a second. But to see how I got so much bend in my rod right here, but since I'm not touching the reel, he's able to run if they need to, but I'm still able to put a lot of heat on him without really costing me a lot. So what am I catching?
So strip in a lot of line here, as much as you can. Pull some line off the reel, and then you're gonna let it all go at once. The line's gonna fly towards you. Try it.
I get what you're saying.
There it is. Perfect.
What a trick that is. That's cool, man.
To land him solo.
Come to me, baby. This actually may have been underestimating this fish. Beautiful, beautiful rainbow trout. This is probably my 5th one. I mean, does this get any cooler? In Alaska, fishing with grizzly bears, rainbow trout, the rain. Epic, epic, epic. This bear is a unit sitting in front of me. My gosh. Easily probably 600 pounds. Looks like a freaking rhinoceros. What's up? I'm literally fishing 20 yards away from death. Pull my hood off so I don't freaking have blinded vision of this thing. Oh! There it is. All right. Yeah, that's the one I was seeing jump. So I'm hooked up to a nice trout. Got freaking Brutus himself just sitting there munching on a dead salmon. And Scott and John are walking down the river with the boat. Oh my gosh, that bear is freaking huge. Dude, this thing is peeling off some line.
That's a good trout, dude. Yeah, here with the late
I want to feel like I'm not with here.
You don't feel like you're.
Good look at that. Wow. Man, oh man. My mind's getting blown out here, honestly. Boom. Beautiful, beautiful stunner of a fish. Awesome girth on it. Send our little baby back. Do you kind of wait for them to just let them do whatever? Are they good?
All fine.
They're good?
They're usually pretty strong.
There's so much oxygen just being pumped into these fish's gills. John said earlier while he was fighting his fish. So I'm taking a weird moment. Something I haven't probably done in 3 years of fishing is where I've caught so many fish, I took off my chest camera and I just stopped filming basically. And I've caught probably, what, you think like 5 or 6 trout since I've stopped. And then I'm throwing and I just got absolutely dumped on, where this thing took me down to my backing twice. I have been fighting this fish for probably 8-10 minutes now. No GoPro on, no cameras. I'm just enjoying myself out here. And it feels really big, really heavy. Scott saw it and he said it seems like it's pretty good size. Yeah. Scott, thank you. This is a freaking behemoth. Epic, epic. Biggest rainbow trout right there. Oh, my biggest of the day for sure. This is too freaking gnarly, dude. Wow, that is insane. The craziest thing to me is how little time these fish take to recover after a 10-minute fight. They kick off so freaking hard, and you've just been fighting them for, feels like an eternity. Man, today has been unreal. And that is our ride. We have been fishing for, I don't know, like 7 hours or so. It's about 6 o'clock right now. We've been fishing since 9:30 this morning, and our ride has arrived. I don't think you could roll out of a fishing spot in any cooler fashion. It has been a freaking ridiculous day, man. I can't believe this. Everything's packed down. Got our plane that we're gonna fly out of right here. We need to load up. All right, day one is in the books. It has come and gone, and I mean, in utter disbelief of how strong these fish are here. It is insane. Scott, the whole entire time leading up this trip, and when we first got here, he's like, "You're gonna have your mind blown. Get ready for it." I'm like, "It's a trout. You know, what's a trout gonna do?" And I have never had to fight a fish so long for the size they were. Their size is impressive. We're catching 5 to 7 pound trout, our bigger ones, and just absolute slabs. You know, they just use their body so well in the current. They cut into it, they make long runs, they know how to use their environment to exactly what they're trying to do. And just some of the healthiest looking fish I've ever seen. Scott says probably one of the best rainbow trout fisheries in the entire world. I mean, you can't get any better than what's going on here. It has been an amazing day one, but we still have a lot more time here, and we're gonna try to catch a lot more fish, a lot more trout, cross off a bunch of different species. It is gonna be an epic week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the first video, you know, just getting here and getting our feet wet and getting on some freaking Mondo trout, but there's so much more to come. And if you guys enjoyed the video, always make sure you leave a like, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that bell. Until next time, see ya.